Welcome to the Czech Republic, but don't do these 10 things. This place is like stepping into a real-life fairy tale, with stunning castles, delicious food, and a culture so rich, it'll blow your mind. Before you book that flight, we gotta talk about a few things that could turn your dream trip into a disaster. We're talking 10 things you should never do in the Czech Republic. Trust me, you do not want to end up in a Czech jail cell or offend the locals. The weather's perfect, the crowds are smaller, and you'll have more breathing room to soak it all in. Stick around and let's make sure your trip is unforgettable for all the right reasons. Let's do this. All right, guys. First up, let's talk about money. You're gonna need some Czech koruna, but whatever you do, don't exchange your money on the street. Those guys might promise you the best rates, but trust me, it's a trap. They're gonna hit you with hidden fees, give you a terrible exchange rate, or worse, straight up scam you with counterfeit bills. And nobody wants to be stuck in a foreign country with a pocket full of fake money, right? Instead, play it safe and use official exchange offices or ATMs. You'll find them all over the place, especially in tourist areas. ATMs are usually your best bet, as they tend to offer better exchange rates. Just make sure you check with your bank about any foreign transaction fees before you go. Seriously, this is one mistake you don't want to make. It could cost you a lot of money and ruin your whole trip. So be smart, be safe, and avoid those shady street money exchangers like the plague. Okay, so you've exchanged your money like a pro, now it's time to explore. And what better way to do that than by public transport? But hold on a second, before you hop on that tram or bus, there's one crucial thing you need to know. Czechs take their peace and quiet on public transport very seriously. We're not talking about library levels of quiet here, but it's definitely not the place to blast your favorite tunes or have a loud conversation on the phone. Trust me, nobody wants to hear about your crazy night out while they're trying to get to work. Keep your voice down, avoid making unnecessary noise, and for the love of all that is holy, put your phone on silent. It's all about being respectful of the people around you. Plus, it's a great opportunity to sit back, relax, and soak up the scenery. You might even want to try eavesdropping on some local conversations, in a non-creepy way, of course. You never know what interesting things you might overhear. All right, guys, you know how important it is to be quiet on Czech public transport, right? Well, guess what? There's something even more important you need to know. We're talking about validating your ticket. In the Czech Republic, you need to validate your ticket as soon as you board. Use the little yellow machines near the doors. Just stick your ticket in, wait for it to be stamped, and you're good to go. Ticket inspectors are everywhere, and they will fine you. So always validate your ticket. Okay, let's talk language. While you'll find that a lot of people in Prague and other major cities speak English, especially younger generations, don't expect everyone to be fluent. Venturing outside of the tourist hubs, you might encounter some language barriers. But hey, that's all part of the adventure, right? Instead of getting frustrated or relying solely on hand gestures, although those can be fun, why not impress the locals with a few basic Czech phrases? Trust me, a little effort goes a long way. Start with Dobrý den, hello, Děkuji, thank you, and Prosím, please. These 3 little words will work wonders in breaking the ice and showing the locals that you're making an effort. Plus, you never know, you might just make a new friend along the way. So ditch the phrasebook, embrace the challenge, and get ready to butcher some Czech. It's all part of the fun. Let's talk about food, glorious food. Czech cuisine is a delicious mix of hearty, comforting dishes that will definitely satisfy your taste buds. But before you dig into that plate of goulash or indulge in a chimney cake, we need to talk about tipping etiquette. Now, tipping is customary in the Czech Republic, but it's not as straightforward as it might seem. You see, Czechs don't tip as generously as some other cultures, so don't feel pressured to leave a massive tip. A general rule of thumb is to round up the bill to the nearest 10 or 20 Czech koruna, or leave a 10% tip for good service. But here's the catch. Don't just leave the tip on the table like you might do in other countries. Instead, tell the waiter how much you want to pay, including the tip, when they bring you the bill. They'll appreciate the gesture, and you'll avoid any awkward misunderstandings. All right, guys, let's talk about capturing those Instagram-worthy shots. The Czech Republic is a photographer's dream, with stunning architecture, picturesque landscapes, and charming streets just begging to be photographed. But before you go snapping away, there are a few rules you need to be aware of. First and foremost, Always be respectful of the people and places you're photographing. Ask permission before taking someone's picture, and be mindful of religious sites and private property. Some churches and museums might have restrictions on photography, so keep an eye out for signs or ask staff before whipping out your camera. And whatever you do, don't use flash photography inside historical buildings or museums. The harsh light can damage delicate artifacts and paintings. So be a responsible tourist, respect the rules, and capture those memories without causing any harm. Alright guys, let's talk about blending in with the locals. While Czechs are generally quite welcoming and tolerant of tourists, it never hurts to brush up on your Czech etiquette. First impressions matter, right? So when you meet someone for the first time, make sure you greet them with a firm handshake, make eye contact, and use their title, like Pan for Mr. or Pani for Mrs., followed by their last name. It's a sign of respect and shows that you're making an effort. Now, here's a fun one. When you're cheersing, it's considered rude to cross arms with someone else. So make sure you're clinking glasses with a clear path to avoid any bad luck. And speaking of bad luck, don't be surprised if someone tells you "Na zdraví," to your health, before you've even taken a sip of your drink. It's just their way of saying cheers. So embrace the local customs, avoid any faux pas, and you'll be well on your way to winning over the hearts of the Czech people. Chapter 8. Don't get busted. The truth about drinking in public. Alright, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, alcohol. The Czech Republic is famous for its beer, and for good reason. It's delicious, it's cheap, and it's an integral part of Czech culture. But before you go cracking open a cold one in public, there's something you need to know. While the Czech Republic might seem like a beer lover's paradise, public drinking laws can be a bit tricky. In general, it's perfectly legal to drink beer or wine in public places like parks and streets. However, hard liquor is a big no-no. And even with beer and wine, there are some exceptions. Some areas, especially in city centers or near schools, might have stricter rules or even complete bans on public drinking. So before you pop that bottle, keep an eye out for signs, or ask a local to avoid any unwanted encounters with the police. Remember, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Chapter 9. Beyond goulash, Czech food that will surprise you. Alright, let's talk food again. Czech cuisine is often associated with hearty, meat-heavy dishes like goulash and svikova. And while those are definitely worth trying, don't assume that's all there is to Czech food. This country has a surprisingly diverse culinary scene with plenty of lighter, healthier options to tantalize your taste buds. If you're looking for something a bit lighter, try kulajda, a creamy soup made with dill, potatoes, and a poached egg. Or how about smazany syr, a deep-fried cheese sandwich that's as delicious as it sounds. And for a truly unique Czech experience, you have to try trdelník, a sweet pastry cooked on a spit and coated in sugar and cinnamon. It's like a chimney cake, but even better. So don't be afraid to venture beyond the traditional dishes and explore the full spectrum of flavors that Czech cuisine has to offer. You might just be surprised at what you discover. Chapter 10. Don't be that tourist. Explore beyond Prague, hidden gems. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about exploring beyond the capital city. Prague is amazing, no doubt about it. But the Czech Republic has so much more to offer than just its capital. From medieval castles to charming towns to stunning natural landscapes, there's something for everyone in this beautiful country. So why not rent a car and go on an adventure? Head south to Český Krumlov, a UNESCO World Heritage Site with a fairy tale-like castle and winding cobblestone streets. Or explore the Moravian region, known for its rolling hills, vineyards, and delicious wine. And if you're looking for something truly off the beaten path, check out the Bohemian Switzerland National Park, a hiker's paradise with towering sandstone cliffs, lush forests, and breathtaking views. Trust me, venturing outside of Prague will give you a whole new appreciation for the beauty and diversity of the Czech Republic. Outro, have the best trip ever! So there you have it, guys. 10 things you should definitely avoid doing in the Czech Republic unless you want to end up with a hefty fine, a bruised ego, or worse, offend the locals. Remember, traveling is all about embracing new experiences, but it's also about being respectful, informed, and prepared. By following these simple tips, you'll be well on your way to having an amazing time in this beautiful and culturally rich country. So pack your bags, book that flight, and get ready for an unforgettable adventure in the heart of Europe. And hey, if you find yourself in a bind, just remember this video. I got you covered. Happy travels.